Henry had always been fascinated by old buildings. There was something about their creaking floors, dimly lit hallways, and the faint smell of dust that made him feel alive. So when he landed a temporary job as a night security guard at the centuries-old Hawthorne Apartments, he was thrilled. Little did he know, the building held secrets that no one on the staff dared to speak about. The first few nights passed uneventfully. Henry patrolled the floors, checked doors, and monitored the CCTV cameras. Yet, there was one thing that always made him uneasy: the old brass elevator. Its buttons were worn, the numbers faded, and the soft ding it made felt off. There were 10 floors listed, from the lobby to the topmost penthouse, yet the elevator sometimes behaved unpredictably. It started on his third night. Henry had pressed the button for the 5th floor, but the elevator jolted violently and stopped on a floor that wasn't listed, a dimly lit corridor with peeling wallpaper and flickering lights. He glanced at the elevator panel. The numbers were gone. A single button glowed red, unmarked. Heart pounding, he stepped out. The air was colder here, heavier, almost metallic. The hallway stretched endlessly in both directions, lined with doors that bore no numbers. The smell of mildew and something far fouler made his stomach turn. He tried the elevator again, but when he pressed the 5th floor button, it didn't budge. Instead, the red button blinked faster. Hesitantly, he pressed it, and the elevator descended. The floor below was even stranger. Shadows twisted unnaturally in corners, and the lights overhead buzzed like a swarm of angry insects. Henry approached a door, and as he reached for the handle, a whisper hissed his name. Henry. He spun around, but no one was there. Only the faint echo of his own heartbeat filled the corridor. Over the next few nights, the elevator's behavior escalated. Sometimes it wouldn't stop at all, carrying him past the 10th floor into a shaft of darkness where the ceiling and walls seemed to vanish. Other times it would descend to a hidden floor that appeared for only a few seconds before disappearing again. On these floors, the normal rules of reality didn't apply. Hallways looped back on themselves, doors opened to rooms that weren't there a moment ago, and clocks ticked backward. One night, Henry decided to investigate. He pressed the red button intentionally, letting the elevator carry him to a hidden floor he had never seen before. The doors opened onto a grand hall, impossibly large, filled with antique furniture covered in white sheets. The air smelled of decay and old wood. Faintly, he heard the sound of a piano playing somewhere deep inside, though no instrument was visible. Henry walked slowly, every instinct screaming for him to leave, yet an unseen force compelled him forward. The hall ended at a massive mirror, ornate and old. In it, he saw himself, but not as he was. His eyes were hollow, his skin pale, and behind him dozens of shadowy figures pressed against the glass, silent and watching. Panicking, Henry stumbled back to the elevator. He pressed every button, desperate to escape, but the elevator didn't respond. The figures in the mirror began to move, raising their hands as if to pull him in. The air grew colder and the lights dimmed until the only illumination came from the red button, glowing like a heartbeat in the darkness. With a scream, Henry pressed it. The elevator lurched violently, throwing him against the wall. When the doors opened, he was back on the 5th floor, sweating and shaking, as if nothing had happened. But something was different. He glanced around the hallway. Everything seemed normal. The elevators, the walls, the old building smells. But deep down he knew it wasn't. He never told anyone about the hidden floors. Some nights he would hear whispers, faint dings from the elevator, or feel a cold brush against his arm as he walked past the old lift. And sometimes, just sometimes, when he pressed the button for the 5th floor, the red button would light up on its own. Henry had learned one truth about Hawthorne Apartments: the elevator never went where it should, and the floors that didn't exist weren't meant to be visited.